Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Coach Clark over at Daytona State. Congratulations, national champions, NJCAA Division One. So, have to get that out of the way. I think you might be my first sitting national championship interview.
Okay. Be the first.
Yeah, there you go. It's awesome. And also here in Florida, I don't know if it's cold in Daytona. It's not. At least we're not Pensacola where they got snow, right?
Absolutely.
Well, the crazy thing is, it's January, and luckily the ECNL events just got in, but like Disney just wrapped up. It's showcase season, right? So for you guys, I mean, JUCO, it's hard enough. You got to recruit twice as much as everybody else. Kind of what is your normal recruiting calendar? Like how much do you have left in the class of 25? Or are you just looking at 20? Like where does that usually stand for you at this time of year?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely progressed. I just finished my fourth season. So certainly when we came in really behind the eight ball, trying to get adjusted to the larger recruitment classes. When I was at NCAA, you might say eight is a big class. But here, they're much larger classes. So I think until recently, like we had some 25 signed very early this year, and now we're starting to head on the 26s, which is not common, I think, in the NJCA by all means. It's certainly a later recruiting cycle. Um, we have our upcoming ID camp, and we will finalize. Most of our top recruits are coming into that, so we will try to finalize those. So I'm hoping by, end of March, we'll be pretty tied up with that 25 class. But you never know. Obviously, we're always looking, and we know now with just the transfer portal, we do pick up NCAA transfers, so there'll be some late, some differences. Maybe some of our players will go out earlier than we expected, or something like that. So it's an ever evolving world. But I would say that we are behind, not behind, but we are still looking in the 25 class. We always are looking. I mean, our numbers are quite large for what we're looking at. I think next year will be a small class for us at 12. We brought in 21 this year. So it's, yeah, they're big numbers. They're big numbers.
Wow. Well, and I mean, I've talked to a number of junior college programs, and it seems like roster sizes uh, are all over the map. You got some schools they're begging, pleading, and hoping to get enough to have a team, and then others that are bigger. Do you have a roster size that you feel is ideal that you're looking to hit each year?
I think 28 to 30. I do keep a large goalkeeping roster. We keep an average of four goalkeepers. So yeah, 28 to 30 this year. We were at 29, 30 last year. So somewhere in that market, I feel like is a good number. We were blessed this year with everyone really being healthy. But we've had those years, where you definitely, need the larger roster, but no roster that we have to have. But I do think that 28 to 30 is a nice size for us.
Okay. Well, we said it, showcase season and whatnot. Are there tournaments, places you like to go to see players? Kind of where do you like to spend your time?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we recruit primarily in the state of Florida. We are blessed and do not have to leave. Obviously, there's a lot of great tournaments here, but our roster is the majority of Florida. So we do have a limit on our internationals. We do carry some out of state, not a ton. We're open to them. But then certainly Florida is our biggest market. So we really stay within the state of Florida. And then, of course, everyone likes to come here. So we get, everybody here. But I mean, we're recruiting exactly what the NCAA schools are recruiting. There's no different. I'm still going after our Division 1 athletes, our Division 2 athletes, because those are the ones that are going to help us win the national title, and that's what it is. So definitely, the ECNL, ECNLR is a big market for us. Majority of our players have come out of there, DPL, so, but we'll go everywhere, anywhere and everywhere I need to look to find what I'm looking for.
Okay. And you mentioned that you've got an camp coming up. Do you do multiple a year? How important are those in your recruiting? And do you guys work other people's ID camps too?
Yeah, my assistant definitely gets out to other ID camps, and we do try to get to other clubs just to kind of, when I first moved here to Florida, to really spread our name and get into these programs. But yeah, we do one a year here, and it is in the spring. And ours are ran very differently. Our team is fully involved in this, and it's strictly us. We don't bring in outside coaches, strictly for Daytona State. So We bring in all of our top recruits, our players that have also already committed come in. So they have an opportunity to start bonding, building chemistry with the current players. And then the best look for us, I mean, we can evaluate in multiple environments, which is important. But the true test is bringing them in to be able to compete with our players and against our current players. Because if a player shines, in that environment, they do make a big impact. And we have found, one, we've made some final decisions every year, but also we found some unbelievable players just by coming through the ID camp. And that's where we've located them and they've come in and impacted the program. So.
Awesome. Well, whether it's at in a ECNL, DP, any event or your ID camp, kind of what makes up the hierarchy of things you're looking for in a player, both on the field and off?
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, because of the style that we play, you know, athleticism is key. It really is. I think it's a huge contributor to why we won the national title this year. We were very specific in increasing our overall athleticism of our players. And we did that. And I think so that is a big key for sure. And then we bring in the technical side. So, like I said, I'm not really looking for anything different. We do play a very possession oriented match here. I like to build through the lines. So, our players do have to be technically and tactically, pretty proficient. Obviously, we are a development ground and continue to grow our players and develop those players. But definitely, athleticism, a high game understanding. Um, Obviously, those are the obvious things. And then I'm looking at a lot of the other things that we try to remind players and prospective student athletes to always be aware of. How do they come off the field? How do they interact with their coaches? What is their bench face? And what's their coachability like? And then obviously digging deeper with the college, with those club coaches about, what is their training environment? How are they in training? What's their commitment level? So there's a lot that goes into it for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Well, in for junior college programs, kids really, I mean, not everybody, but a lot of them are hoping that they will be a good stepping stone to the next level. So can you talk to me a little bit about what it's like at your school, how placement at the moving on goes, and what kind of results you've had with that?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had phenomenal results with it, and I think that is one of the reasons why we are becoming more and more popular, specifically at Daytona State, and it is because of our development ground and where we are placing our players as they're going out. So it's a very big process. That's other than recruiting right now. It's probably the biggest part of my job right now is the placement of our sophomores coming out just before this call. I mean, I had 4 different calls with Division I institutions about our players. So I think that is the key. We've been fortunate last year. We sent one to a Power Four. We'll send one this year to a Power Four. And those are, a little less common, but our players are going at all levels. I mean, we're seeing them into, Division I school. We've seen the Power Four. We've seen the Division I, Division II, NAI, D3 as well. So, we're these young women are open to everything. We want to make sure it's a perfect fit. So yeah, I mean that is part of our development ground. I think the success of our program. I've been in the college game a long time. I think it's my 25th year. So a lot of I know a lot of people, a lot of networking. As we talked before this, I mean the soccer community is small. If you've been around a long enough like us, you definitely come to know some people. So I think coaches know what kind of product they're going to get when they get a Hope Clark product. So I think that's a key piece. I do run the program like an NCAA program from compliance purposes and structure and expectation so that the transition is really easy for our players. They know what to expect going into their next schools. And we want to make sure that we send a quality product in the classroom and on the playing field to the next 4 years. So
No?
yeah, but it's a big process right now. Lots of fielding calls, the girls putting in highlight film. I always say it's like a 3 edge, you're going to go back through that recruiting process, like you did. And they're marketing themselves. I'm marketing you. There's direct contact, there's putting together the highlight films, etc. It does help being a national championship team, obviously. The schools are going to come to us as one of the higher level programs in the country. So that is helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's learn a little bit more about the school. Um, Talk to me about what makes Daytona State cool. What are some awesome things about it? Maybe some things we wouldn't even know by going through the website.
Yeah, I mean, what a unique place. It's absolutely beautiful. There's 25,000 students here, obviously several campuses, but on our main campus is about 9,000. Brand new residence hall built in open ground in 2022. They are working on our second one. So all of our student athletes and some general population are housed right on campus, which is fantastic. We have hosted the national tournament. The women are hosting the national tournament again in 2027, and our men are hosting it this year. The academic resources that we have at the institution are second to none. As far as we have, the writing center, multiple academic support centers. So the tutors, we've got our math emporiums, our career services, which I think is really impressive as far as what they're doing to help current students and any former students. Once a Falcon, always a Falcon. So I think the student to teacher ratio is fantastic, and the rapport that our athletes are able to build with those professors to guide them through. And of course, we have from the academic side, I mean, direct connect to UCF in Florida. So our academics are extremely strong here. Never mind the fact that now we offer 13 bachelor programs. One of the top nursing programs in the school, our law enforcement, and they're just constantly building. So we're led by an unbelievable president, Dr. Tom Labasso, who is absolutely amazing. Honestly, I know him only from the athletic side, but what he's done for the institution just in my time here and the growth of the institution is extremely impressive. But he's a huge soccer guy, so we're very, very lucky. We just got done designing our national championship ring, so he's super excited about getting that one on his finger along with his multiple golf ones. But we're just he's a really great, just down to earth individual. He's on campus every day, just eating there. Most people wouldn't even know it's him. Or he's in the weight room working out every day. So, we're really led from the top up. And our athletic administration is incredible. They've been here. I always say, you're at a good place when people have been here a long time, and they've been here 26, 28 plus years, and they do a phenomenal job. And just really, really grateful to be working with these individuals here.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, take me back to October. You're just in the heart of the season. Walk me through what's a typical week look like for the players in terms of winter practices, games, meals, classes, the whole nine yards.
Yeah, so we actually train in the morning from about 9:45 to about 11:45 to ensure that players can get out for their 12:30 classes. A couple of them take 8 a.m. courses, so they'll go to class, come to practice, go to class, or some will just start after. But we train in the mornings. Now in the spring, we train in the mornings and we'll lift in the afternoon. But yeah, I mean, typically we'd like to say there's 2 games a week. We know that the college season is in an overload, unfortunately, here in the US. But yeah, average of about 2 games a week. So let's assume it's a Wednesday, Saturday. We're going to train Monday, taper Tuesday, and prep. We'll then Wednesday, maybe let's say it's a home game. We'll have film pregame meeting in the morning, game in the evening. Thursday will be a recovery session, either a soccer specific yoga, stretching recovery, or it will be a pool recovery. And then Friday, again, we'll go into a prep film, working on things that we need to work on and improve on, and then getting prepared for the next opponent. Match on Friday, game on Saturday, and then typically an off on Sunday is kind of how an ideal week would work.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the team and playing and all. We talked about the roster size, but the other part of that roster would be your staff. So talk to me, what does your staff look like? What roles does everybody play? Maybe what other support staff are in the athletic department that help out with the team?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have my Elizabeth Manor, who is my assistant. She's been with me quite a few years now, and she's fantastic. I really give her a lot of autonomy. I'm a big believer, hire good people and let them do their job. So her focus is primarily within our defense. That is what she played. I was a goalkeeper, but obviously we know a lot of everything really kind of going on, but Liz's forte is definitely within her defensive end. So she will primarily focus with our defense. She does a lot of the individual film work with players as well, and then also helps with all the academic monitoring. So depending on the student athlete and what each specific needs are, they'll either have 1 meeting or 2 meetings maybe per week for monitoring and kind of check-ins on the academics to ensure we do carry over a 3.5 GPA every semester within our program. So academics are very important to us. Um, and then, of course, Liz is, fully involved in the recruiting process, just like myself, in all of those pieces. So those are just small portions of what she does. She does a million other things, of course. And then we have been using this past year. We added Stacy Kerr, who was with FKK, who just most recently went to IMG. And was handling their goalkeeping there. And so she was coming in a couple times a week to work with our goalkeeping unit, just because it is very difficult for me as the head coach to kind of manage all those pieces. So we did outsource our goalkeeping. So she has been a fantastic addition. And then we have Jimmy Angeles, who's also at FKK. He is a coach there, is also a high school coach. So he really, because it's difficult for us to get out in the fall with our staff, recruiting wise, Jimmy is already coaching within the ECNL ranks. And so it's able for him to go ahead and get some eyes on some players. So, when I know he's playing a team, he can get out and get a read and talk to those players for us. So we've got some eyes and feet on the ground while we're busy in season with the recruiting piece.
Okay. Well, what about you? How would you describe kind of your coaching style and the style of play that you're looking to play there?
Yeah, I think style of play is definitely a possession-oriented style, very fast pace, high pressing system, strong on our counterattack. I do like to build through the lines. I'm big in why do we do things, not just this is what we're doing, but why do we do this and when we do this. So I'm big on the educational piece. Our program pillars and are very clear to our players. That we are going to create height, width, and depth in the attack, defensive and vertical and horizontal compactness in the defending. How do we press in our 9-10 press? So it's very clear, it's very structured within that. So yeah, education for sure in my coaching style, definitely the style of play. So very attacking. I believe that, attacking starts in the back and defending starts up top. So you will see, like I said, a high pressing system, building through the lines. That would be our style. My coaching philosophy obviously is that I think soccer is just it's an unbelievable vehicle to get us to create unbelievable leadership skills, teamwork skills, to become the best young women, mothers, employees, employers that we can possibly be. And that we are obviously are it's a privilege, to be a collegiate athlete. There's a lot of people, I tell our players all the time, that want to be in their shoes, and not everybody gets that opportunity. So we want to make the most of that. I still think my 4 years at Virginia Tech were the best 4 years of my life still. Um, that really just impacted who I am, made me who I am, helped me grow, helped me learn. And so I think, that's what I want to do for these young women. I'm we're disciplined and we have high expectations and I have high standards, but certainly I do things called like birthday meetings with our players. And so what those are, they're meetings that the players will schedule. They're not mandatory. It's if they want to, they come in. We'll spend, 30 minutes talking, and it cannot be about soccer. So we'll just talk about everything else about their families, their lives, their aspirations, whatever it is. And I feel like that's an unbelievable opportunity for them to get to know me, but also for me to get to know them on a different sort of level to help me better coach them, right? And understand what motivates them. What are they trying to get out of their experience here? And I feel like we're a training ground for the next 40 years of life, right? So at the NCAA, you say 4 for 40, we're maybe 2 for 20, but I'm hoping my relationships extend longer than 20 years with these young women. But yeah, it's way more than soccer to me. Soccer is just a piece of it. It's a vehicle. It's a gift. But really the relationships, I'm a very relationship person. I definitely, heart on my sleeve for sure. And I love people. I like to talk, if you can't tell. And I and I like people. So I'm really, even in the recruiting process, really key on culture. I really focus on culture building. And I have to be surrounded by positive individuals. I struggle in negative environments personally. So in the recruiting process, it's key for me to kind of find the vibe of an individual. How are they going to come into our family and impact our family, and understand that the we is greater than the me. And so, yeah, it's a lot of the culture. I think that's again, strong culture is how programs win. You win in the locker room first at the end of the day.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Well, Coach, you've been generous with your time. I'm going to leave you with one last question, and that is if you had one piece of advice for anybody going through this college soccer recruiting process right now, what would that be?
I would say be patient with yourself. I think that sometimes, especially in women's soccer, it gets very advanced very early on. And I think some athletes we see feel the pressure. Oh, my teammate's doing this or my teammate's doing that. I should know where I'm going. But just be patient with yourself and find the right school. I think it's important that you visit many places. You talk to the student athletes that are in the program and really make sure that you're making a decision for the institution first and foremost, that you can see yourself at that institution without soccer. And then I do think, obviously putting yourself in an environment that's going to be healthy and productive for yourself and knowing what you want. I think those are important pieces, I think, for young women.
For sure. Well, Coach, can get again, congratulations
Thank
on the
you.
national
Thank
champ.
you.
Can't wait to see those rings. And hopefully I'll see you on my side of the state, recruiting some of our girls over here at Florida Premier. So
Absolutely. Thank you for your time, Matt. I appreciate you.
thank you.
Bye.